Good morning. This is Sonia here from Sam and Sonia's Garden. I am bringing you along for a garden tour on this August 14th, 2025. Sam and I just returned from a week-long vacation with one of our children, and we haven't looked at the garden to see what is or is not doing well. We had a sweet nephew come by and pick what few peas might have been ready. They already looked like they were going downhill before we left, but we'll see what they look like together today. But I'm just going to bring you with me to just kind of see what's happening out here. So before we go out there, I want to show you a few experimental things that I had going on closer to the house. Well, for one thing, we want to upright this. And again, everything that you see today will be my first time seeing it too, because when we got home last evening, I was getting over a bug. I ate some bad broccoli at a restaurant, and it didn't take me completely out, but it made me take notice. So these are some sweet cheek pear cuttings that I started, and you'll see this one isn't doing much, but this one is looking pretty good. And this one is looking pretty good. So that's what they look like after a week of my being gone. I think that's pretty nice, pretty nice. I need to probably get some water. It's still pretty moist. I don't know what the roots look like in here. Can't see any roots. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's making some roots. But anyways, that's my Sweet Cheeks pear cutting. The Sweet Cheeks pear tree, I'm gonna put that on when I've got two hands, is hasn't given me any pears yet, but I've only had it in the ground for a year and a half, and I needed to trim the top out of it, and I decided not to throw those trimmings away to see if I could root some cuttings instead of just tossing them. So those are my cuttings. I had some more, but those were the only ones that sprouted for me. So hopefully I'll get a tree or two out of those. All right, so let's come on around and look at these. I did an experiment and it worked here. Again, this is my first time doing this. Never done it before. I think I saw it on YouTube a few years ago, but this is what I did. I have a pot of water here that lasted just about a week. You see it's almost empty now, but these strings were just kind of held in here by the pot lid, but not so tight that it, just held in here by the pot lid, but not so tight that it's would keep the water from like absorbing into the string and flowing down to the cups. Well, before I left, I knew that it was flowing down into the cups, but I wasn't sure if it would continue that cycle because these were just seedlings, much smaller seedlings. They did not have their true leaves when I left. So looks like this one didn't come up here, but the rest of these look great. Look in there. So these are what's the name of them? Sugar baby watermelons. So what I did was I bobby pinned, is that bobby pin there? I bobby pinned these into the soil, like in 3 different places, so that the soil would stay moist while I was gone for this week, because I was afraid these babies would not last if they didn't stay moist. And they did. All right, good. And looks like over here, my lemon trees are getting eaten, but some of them are still looking strong. I didn't have any watering system on them. You see this one looks like the top has been chopped out of it. I didn't have a watering system on them, so they just did what they were going to do. And those over there are a little bit stronger lemon trees. Right? And those right there are some more of the pear cuttings that just didn't do anything. But anyways, this is looking pretty good. My plan today is to dump these sweet potato slips out and start some greens, some collard greens out here because my garden beds aren't quite ready. My plum trees still look pretty good. They're fighting back, you know. They're fighting back whatever's bothering them. They're fighting. They're fighting for their lives. All right, so that looks good. Okay. So this is looking great. This is looking great. This is looking great. I'm encouraged. So let's go back here and see what's happening back here because I have my ginger back here. Okay. All right, so this ginger right here, I'm just trying to figure out why it won't take off like the others. It just doesn't look as healthy and strong as the others. Maybe it's because of the, what is it called? I'm not calling the name, but it numbs your mouth. The little button plants here, these, maybe that doesn't let it live its best life. I don't know. What's it called? Toothache. The toothache plants, Spolanthes. The toothache are in there with it because the ginger was actually a last thought. It wasn't the original intent of these planters. So I've been moving around trying to figure out what they like. But these sweet things right here, this ginger, it likes this pot, it likes this placement. They've just taken off and they just keep putting out new ginger. Look at there. There's a new piece of ginger, but look in here, it's putting out a fresh piece of ginger there. So this is nice. This did well. And these are just extra basil and marigolds I had, and I didn't want to toss them away. Looks like I may as well have, but because I'm not doing anything with them. But anyway, that's that. So let's come on around. This is looking good. I probably should have collected more of this comfrey and put it into some tea or chopped it up into the ground. Maybe I will put it into the ground because I am about to plant some my brassicas for the fall. All right, my lemongrass is looking good. It's multiplying. I like to look at the base to tell how it's doing because I want the base here to get thick. I want them to have some thick shoots coming out of there. But it is getting big, not necessarily thick though. So here goes. Let's see. All right, I see okra. That needs picking very clearly. All right, yeah, we see okra. That needs picking. Definitely needs picking. Yep. Looking good. The sweet potatoes are slowly filling in. I'm trying to remember. I think we did the end of May that we planted these slips. It seemed like it was on the struggle bus, to be honest. Most of the time it's been on the struggle bus. I recently put these leaves down here to try to shade the ground and hopefully help it take off a little bit because it's been hot. It has been hot. I haven't turned any irrigation onto it. But I will say, what was I going to say? Okay, the end of May. So let me count up 120 days. May, June, July, August. So the end of August, the 1st of September, the end of August, the 1st of September should be the time that we are ready to collect this particular row of sweet potatoes and that end down there of the sweet potatoes. Okay, now here's the crazy thing. We had some crazy thing happening with the squash bugs, right? Squash bugs were crazy. They took over. Well, Sam just, I pulled the squash plants. We burned them. That's the burn pile. Plants have been burned a while ago. But we burned them. And there obviously were still seeds in the ground because we decided to plant some sugar babies here in mounds. So I got about 7 mounds of sugar babies equally spaced here. You can't tell, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. And we've got about 7 mounds of orange watermelons equally spaced down here. But there was obviously still seeds in the ground from those volunteers that came up and kept us from planting this spring. Look how they are still in the ground and steady coming up. Just volunteers everywhere. I only planted my intentional plants around these sticks here.
So I will say this is probably a sugar baby, but I really don't know what's my sugar baby and what's not my sugar baby because I've got watermelons coming all up. But I know that this stick is in the middle of a mound, and my sugar babies are on either side of this stick. But look how healthy and strong these others are coming up around it. I don't know what to say, but we put down a lot of compost and manure and everything. And here's a what you call it? That's a cantaloupe or some type of different type of melon there. So yeah, I don't know which ones are my sugar babies and which ones are not. I really don't. I know where my mounds are supposed to be. I want to say this is a mound because one of them I couldn't figure out where the mound was. This has to be the mound because there should be 7 here. Let's see, 1, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 2 missing. 5, I want to say that's 6 right here. And maybe 7 between there. But which ones are the sugar baby and which ones are the volunteers, I just don't know. Now this row over here, where I planted the orange watermelons, it's not so hard to tell. But I still see some strays coming up. And I don't know if the orange watermelons have time enough to mature, but Sam and I thought, you know what? Well, Sam thought, you know what? Let's just see what happens because those orange watermelons are so good. They are so good, y'all. So, so good. But this is what they're looking like coming out of here. Okay, so here's the thing. These peas, these are the purple hull. First time seeing it since we've been back. We thought they were done for. But as you see, they're putting on more blooms. They're putting on more blooms. Now the callaloo over here has gone to seed, and that's okay with me because it was just kind of a trap. It wound up being a trap crop. But look at these peas. They're putting on more blooms, and hopefully we'll get another picking out of these. I was about ready to pull these and start my winter garden, which means I'm going to find another place for us to find our winter garden. I was just going to chop these up and bury them in the ground because I felt like they're just taking up space. They're not doing anything but sitting over here looking puny and pitiful, and I could look at myself for that. I don't need to look at my garden real estate for that. But anyways, these are some more sweet potatoes that are just not, they're being very slow about putting out their runners and just covering the ground. Maybe it's because I let all this callaloo shaded out. So I'm just going to have to get this callaloo out of here. That's all I can think of. This could be harvested. I see the bugs. Yes, I see them. This can be harvested. That can be harvested. A lot of harvesting needs to happen out here. So it's not looking terrible. All right, so again, this is you seeing with me, real time, first time, after a week's vacation, what it's looking like out here in our little garden land. All right, so let's go around and look at the peppers. I see they need harvesting. The Creolicella need harvesting. You see the yellow in there. See some Hungarian yellow wax. Ooh, it looks like it's taking on some damage somehow here. I don't know what that is going on right there. It doesn't look pretty. All right, keeping right around here. Okay. So I see my Lacia. I don't know why the Lacia looks like that sometimes. I don't know. But anyways, that's my Lacia. My cayenne just need a lot of harvesting to happen here. They're okay. Oh, they're okay. Okay. So I'm gonna walk back around the front of the garden. Okay, so the Creolicella is still putting on blooms. These things, they just refuse to stop. Let's stop shaking there. There we go. They refuse to stop. They're steady putting on blooms. And I love that. I love that about them. So, continuing on, I still haven't taken up that cucumber plant yet, but it's going to happen.
got a lot to do. My butterfly garden here, the heat gave it a licking while I was gone because I didn't put an irrigation on it. You see, Sam and I did run some irrigation before we left. Okay, these rattlesnake beans looks like it wants to put on more blooms. Look at there, won't you? It wants to put on more blooms for us. So maybe it wants to give us more rattlesnake beans, because before we left, I was assuming by the time I got back I would need to pull this out. I don't know if I will or if I won't, but you see up there? That looks really good. Well, it doesn't look really good, but it's still doing its thing. Okay, so my sage is doing pretty good. Now this plant, the clary sage, I was supposed to get these seeds before I left. Hopefully there's still seeds in there that I can grab. It's not like I need a lot of them to replant, but look at that beautiful sage. Well, I mean, that's not sage, rosemary. She's beautiful right there, looking good. But the sage is looking delicious, and that sage, it picks up the flavor of the meats and things like that really well. I have red beans under here, and they are beginning to bloom. I'm gonna have to uncover this. Not right now, though. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. Okay. Sam and I tied up I said butterfly flowers. I meant to say hummingbird flowers. And the hummingbirds do like these flowers. We tied them up before we left because they were kind of laying in the walkway. I'm gonna deadhead those, maybe not today, because I've got a lot of harvesting to do. But I am so pleased to see, there's our, oh gosh, let me think of the name of this again. This is called, it's a root crop. Sunchokes. These are our sunchokes, our Jerusalem artichokes right here, these tall things. And you can see there's a flower coming in. Let's see if I can get that flower. Zoom in for you. That flower coming in, they get a lot of those flowers. They're in the sunflower family. But anyways, they make a root crop in the ground here, and you can see where I keep chopping down the bush right here, and I use it for fertilizer or either to just smother out weeds down the middle of the rows. But what I'm trying to say is it makes a root crop, and I think I've told you about that, my Jerusalem artichoke. I'm not particularly crazy about them, but it's great for insulin resistance and all that kind of stuff, and it's a great tuber to eat. I'm not crazy about the flavor, but it's food. All right, it's food, and you can see it grows like crazy. It spreads like weeds. I'm tempted to just get them out of here and get rid of them, but they want to grow for me. So I don't know. I obviously like to fight with my food and get something that I have to have sweat, blood, and tears in order to grow, rather than enjoying the things that produce naturally. Now, this is what I'm excited about. My top picked peas. My nephew came out and picked what few we had, and the rest, I was afraid before I even left, he didn't have to tell me this, that it looked like they were on their way out. But he said he picked them, and he said that maybe they would produce, and that was what I was hoping, which is why I asked him to come and pick them. But you see the flowers coming out again? I'm thinking we're gonna get more top picked peas out of this. We're gonna get more top picked peas. Praise the Lord, I'm so excited. Because it is flowering again. I'm so excited to see that. So excited to see that. Okay, but before we left, these were just seedlings. These were just seedlings. And now look how full the rows are. So these are more top picked peas. And they'll be ready probably once those fizzle out. It'll be time to start picking these. And I am definitely going to share these with my sweet nephew that came out to help us with our garden while we were gone. Okay, more callaloo that needs harvesting. You know, I am not caring for these callaloo plants. I'm just kind of letting them do what they do, because it's so hard to keep the bug pressure off of them. And they grow so tall, it's hard to canopy them. And I just don't have the knowledge or the energy to spray them. I guess I should. These are our butter beans. And the butter beans are beginning to flower. Praise the Lord. Look at there. Look at that, won't ya? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yay. Isn't that beautiful? So the butter beans are beginning to flower. So I don't know how long, but I'm not that good at being able to judge stuff in the garden. But there's more flowers coming in on those butter beans. They're beginning to flower, so I'm expecting butter beans soon. What soon mean? We'll find out, won't we? We'll find out together. Okay, so this is looking great, looking great, looking great, looking great. Let's see. I don't know what kind of melon that is coming up there, but there's nothing planted in that little spot. More butter beans planted here. So when those that I just showed you give out, these should start coming in. Yeah. So, all right, now here are my showstopper okra. And baby, can you tell? They want to be picked so bad. And look at that huge piece of okra. That's a mess. Let me see if I can get in here and not get itchies all over my hands. Excuse the camera work. Look how big that is. Yeah, that's some big okra out here. And I'm so thankful to say I don't see a lot of stink bugs out here. I just see one right now. I don't know if you can see him back there hanging out. Let's see if I can get him in the camera, in the shot rather. Right there. There he is, hanging out. I'll take care of him another time. Right, here's my big finger. Right there. At the top of the shot. He's hanging out. But before we left, honey, let me tell you something. These stink bugs were like, I don't know. It was grossing me out so bad to see so many bugs anywhere. I know this is outdoors and this is where they live, but honey, it was, ugh. But thank God we were able to get them under control before we left, and they don't seem to be as terrible. All right, so here's more butter beans. We just decided to plant more because beans seem to do well here, so why not plant them? Why not? Now, you see my little red stick with the red tie on it. On the other end of this stick are different type of peas. They are brown Crowder peas. I've never grown them before. Don't know if I'm gonna like them or not, but I thought they looked and sound interesting. So that's what these are down here. And right next door to it are my purple sweet potatoes, or our purple sweet potatoes. Yes, our purple sweet potatoes. Looking good, looking good, looking good. And our onions, green onions. Looks like they're trying to come back. I was afraid that I neglected them so much that they might just start a rebellion and decide not to come back. But I still got to get this grass out of here because I think that's part of the reason you can't really see them because there's so much grass in there. All right, so that's looking great. So this is this side of the garden. Looking excellent. Thank you, Jesus. I'm so glad about this. Okay, so let's go back out here. The trees. This is where I got the sweet cheek cutting from. And I cut it here. You can see where I cut that right there. There's one part and the other part cutting came from here. Just took the top out and something's eating my tree up. I don't know. Fight, sweet cheek, fight. Well, that's what it is, a sweet cheek, whatever you call it, something on the back of there. I don't know if that's a good insect egg or not, but whatever kind of insect egg it is, I just got rid of it off my tree. Anyway, this is my Lead Farmer 73 cutting. I had a few of them. This is the only one that survived, and it's looking great. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? So I'm wondering, well, I don't know. It just looks good. It looks really good. And here's another. This came from a local farmer. This is a Everbearing, Illinois. Oh, and the tag has come off. Mulberry, Illinois Everbearing. So I guess Illinois Everbearing Mulberry. And she looks good. She looks good. She looks good. And there's more of that fuzzy thing. I know it's some type of egg, but I'm just removing it because I don't know what it is. Don't know if it's good for the tree or not. But anyway, she's growing big, and I probably could just stand to trim her up, but I don't know if I should or not. I don't need any more mulberry cuttings. Here's some comfrey down here that I didn't know if it would come back, and it is. And we've got pecan trees coming up everywhere. Pecan trees love coming up here. Our apple tree. Can't see it against all the other trees behind it, but this is our apple tree. Sam's picked most of the apples. I don't know if you can even see that difference. The contrast is not very good. Second apple tree here. Looking good. They're looking great. Okay, so let's keep walking on over here. I have a few purple sweet potatoes in here, but I put in some top pick peas with them. And I think they're doing okay. Yeah, so the purple sweet potatoes are my main priority. The top pick peas was just something that I stuck in here to see what it would do. And they're doing whatever they're doing. But past this little stick here becomes my regular old Beauregard sweet potatoes. And look at these peas. Doesn't that look healthy and strong here? Look at that from the base up. Doesn't that look nice? It looks really good. The sweet potatoes are looking good. It's looking pretty good, isn't it, Sam?
Okay.
All of it. Yep. Yeah.
I picked the old stuff and just threw it on the ground. That's all dried up and shriveled up.
Yeah.
Look at that okra right there. Nobody's picking okra.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Let me show the YouTuberians. Let me make that word up. YouTuberians. That okra that Sam saw. Speaking of, look at the size of that. Can you see that? So this is what being on a week's vacation looks like when you come home. The food is like ready, begging to be harvested. All right, so these are the peas and the sweet potatoes coming along. Now, halfway into, well, after I got I planted this bed out in stages, this sweet potato bed, because I didn't have enough slips to plant it all at once, which was a godsend after I thought about it, because who wants to have to dig that many sweet potatoes at one time? So it's kind of spaced out so that we'll dig a few. You have to wait until the next group matures, and then you dig a few more. But as I was doing that, waiting for more sweet potatoes to mature, the Lord gave me the idea to just plant one section of sweet potatoes with no peas or anything else in it, just sweet potatoes, and see if the peas increase the sweet potato production or not. So this is my control group, because I know that sweet potatoes normally do well for us. Okay, we know that. So this is our control group. But all of these other sections down here, down through there, that's the experiment to see how it does with peas growing in with them. I know peas are nitrogen fixing, but and sweet potatoes don't really need that. So I don't know if that'll mess with the sweet potatoes or not. I hear that it does not matter about the nitrogen fixation until you turn the peas under. I don't know if it's true or not that you're getting the nitrogen fixation before you turn the peas over or after. I really don't know, but we'll see. So again, we know that sweet potatoes do well when planted by themselves in our garden, but do they do well when they are interplanted with other
with a nitrogen fixing crop like peas? We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll find out. All right, so over here, let's just look right here real quick and we're gonna go. I see some callaloo going to seed, so I'm gonna just cut that out. These peppers, little runts that I planted in here, are still bearing. They're still bearing. They don't care that they were runts. They said, I know my job. Can you please just let me do my job? And I'm saying, yes, yes, please, just do your job. And the tomatoes are setting flowers. Hopefully they will bear for me and have enough time to put on. I think it helped maybe that we started the irrigation, because we hadn't been irrigating. The basil, my gosh, needs collecting. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those beautiful flowers coming off of it. We need to collect this basil and harvest it. Lots of callaloo needing harvesting, Sam. Did you see that? Some of it's going to seed, but we've got quite a bit that needs harvesting. This could stand to be harvested. It's not just absolutely beautiful, but it's food. I see some tomatoes. There's a big grape tomato that could be harvested there. So it's making tomatoes on the ground. We didn't get around to sticking these tomatoes, and I don't know that that's a bad thing, because I've heard of people doing cucumbers, letting their cucumbers and their tomatoes just sprawl on the ground and being ground cover and keeping the weed pressure down themselves. And I'm not mad about that. You know, if it works, we'll find out this year. And maybe it'll make our lives easier. And I think this might be a harlequin bug. Can you get it, Sam? Oh, no, it's the window. There we go. You see it there? Yeah, the worms are loving our callaloo. They always love our callaloo. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can. I think that's the harlequin bug. I don't know. I've heard people talk about them, and I've seen this bug, but I finally looked them up the other day and Googled it to see what in the world are these people calling harlequin bugs. And that's it. That is the harlequin bug. Yep. So, let's see. Yep, that's the harlequin bug. Yep. So, a lot of times I don't bother bugs if I don't know what they are, because they could be beneficial bugs, right? But that's not one of them. That is not one of them. So we're just gonna keep moving around. And this is Sam out here with me, y'all. So it's Sam and Sonia in Sam and Sonia's garden today. Okay, there's another callaloo going to seed. So it's been hot out here. We know that. Oh, look. These tomato plants are supposed to put on some pretty big tomatoes. And I guess maybe it's cooled down enough, or maybe because we put the water on them, they are actually setting fruit. The plant looks pretty tortured. Looks like it's seen better days. And I think that's a lemon tree that volunteered here. So, yep. But anyways, I don't know where it came. I don't know where it came from. I guess we'll have to figure it out. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it came from. So this is our garden after a week's vacation, partying, having a good time. This is what we came home to. I think it looks pretty good, considering it hadn't had us here to love on it and pet on it. And this looks like more, I don't know what this looks like, but it's coming up here. I don't know what that is. It's pretty. But these are more sweet potatoes right in here, and callaloo that we can harvest and add to our meals, because our girls came home last night after we came home yesterday. So we have food. They love our callaloo. So
it would be nice to harvest some of that and all of us enjoy that together. Okay. So yeah, Sam was just pointing out this huge callaloo over here. And it's huge. Not callaloo, but okra. So I don't know. I've been drinking okra water. And it's, goodness, I don't know if it helps me sleep or not, but I know that I put cloves in it, and cloves makes me sleep. Oh my gosh, cloves knocks me out. Knocks me out. My daughter says that's what they use to put fish to sleep when they do these fish grafts for people's skin and stuff like that. But anyways, she said I was a fish because she's like, what person gets knocked out from just drinking cloves? But anyway, it knocks me out, and I'm glad I found something that helps me rest better at night. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I just wanted to show you what was going on in our little garden. Sam and I have really enjoyed our week away, right, Sam?
That's right.
We had a really good time, and we're excited to be home in our little slice of paradise again, and get back to our routines. Thanks for joining us and seeing what the garden looks like in August, the hottest month of the year, and in Mississippi anyway. And come back again and visit with us. Yeah, so it's been really nice spending this time with you. Come back. Who knows what we'll talk about next time, but this was the object today, to just see how things were pushing through and perking along, recovering and doing what it does. I'm just so thankful for God's bounty. You all have a wonderfully blessed rest of your day. We're going to get out here and get after it and enjoy the beauty that today brings. Take care. Sam and Sonia signing off. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.